blend, and then our base tile is over here. That. Okay. As you can see, it adds in these little bits of roughness back into our, I'll make it extreme so you can see. I'm not sure it should be. Yeah. Let's see. So the way that we use this, so let's say we want to make, and I'm trying to skip steps here because I could be going for like a while longer, but just to get closer to a finished product. So the way that you would create a color channel from this, let's say you want to just to be like a brownish color, you can do it two ways. I prefer to do it with a gradient map. However, you can do it with just plain color, but I'll show you how. Let's see. So from this point further, I probably won't be doing the frames just so I can just knock it out. Just FYI, guys. All right, so let's take this, our dirt mask, and feed it into our blend. Let's get our color tiles that we have here. Let's grab that and feed this in. If you guys remember, I have to do something before I can blend my dirt mask on there. Let's see, boom, and it's red. I need to add in a gradient map. So like I said, there's two ways you can do this. I've seen people do it this way, which I don't particularly like, is you can just take a color node and just say you want to do dirt, which I guess dirt is brown. You can use your dirt mask right here that you created from there as a mask, and you can just add in your dirt that way. So let's see what that looks like. Which adds in some pretty cool dirt based on our tiles. And then the way that I prefer, though, and I mean, it's everybody. Obviously, it's your choice. However you want to do it. The way that I like to do it, my color stuff, is I use these gradient maps here. And if you come into your gradient editor, you can pick a gradient, right? You can select any color you want just by clicking and dragging over it. It'll pick up every color on the way to create a gradient for you. So I usually will go find some reference for either some dirt or whatever I want. You know, usually it's from photography. And I'll just grab, let's say I like the color of the dirt from these tiles. So I gotta make the screen a little smaller so I can grab onto it. So if I hit this pick gradient, and then come over here to these tiles, let's find, let's see. All right, I'll just start here. So if I click and drag down, it'll pick up all these little values here. And what that does is you see all the colors that I scanned from there, from the picture. You can set the precision to higher or lower, depending on whichever looks better. It's all, whatever you like at the end of the day. And what that does is instead of just feeding a flat brown, instead of just feeding it a flat brown, it'll feed it a range of different colors. And this becomes more and more powerful as you start to blend it onto itself and start to blend other dirt. So let's see, let's do grunge. And I'm coming right up close to the end, guys. Nah, let's not do it. Let's do moisture news. So if I create a mask here, and do another gradient map. Oops, I'm in the wrong place. Gradient map, feed this into there. And let's get some more color. I usually don't pick the same picture to grab my colors from. I use multiple pictures to grab from. I'm just trying to find dirty tiles. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Oops. Alrighty. This green here. Pick up all this dirt there. And what that does is you can see it layers on. You know, you use opacity and all these blending modes to make it even better from there. But it's essentially, you know, just laying all the different colors on top of each other just to, let me choose a different color. I'm not 100% happy with that one. Let's see. Let's got this. Oh, that's funky. Yeah, usually it takes a few times of selecting colors before I find something I'm 100% happy with. But yeah, that's fine. That created like a dirty tile look. So let's plug this into the color. And then we'll talk about how to create. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. And we'll talk about how we do the roughness. So roughness, for those of you who don't know, is essentially just a black and white map that defines where your material is rough and where it's smooth. White being rough and black being smooth and reflective. So let's think for a second. Put on our thinking caps. So where would it be rougher on my tile? It would definitely be rougher around where this dirt is, which I got from this map here. And it would be super rough around these. So it would be rougher around these than it would be around the softer dirt. And then anywhere where it's like more pinkish, it would be smoother, since that's where the original tile would be shining through, peeking through. So let's create a blend. And let's use the map that I created here. And that's already white, so I like that. I'm gonna keep that. And put it here. And then add my other one on top of it. Let's do, and let's add in our levels node finally. Been talking about it for so long. And I just do this to break up, just to have a more of a contrasty roughness so that it's a little bit easier to see. And then, you know, once I see it, I can pull back and see if I want to do more or less. Let's throw this in just to see how far we are away from our target. See roughness. Boom.
Nice.
Right away, I'm seeing some problems. Right. Where is it? Okay. Also, guys, if you hit F, it'll focus you on whatever node that you have selected. So if you go away from it, you need to go back, hit F, and it'll bring you right back to it. Okay, so I'm going to mess with this a little bit more. Let's make it more contrasty. See, as you can see, I'm starting to get more of that roughness coming through. Now that it's a little bit more contrasty. Awesome. All right. Well, I'll leave it there for now. I think this is decent enough for me that I'll be happy with that. Obviously, anywhere where the grout would be, it would be rough, super rough, and not slick like it is here. But I'll worry about that. I can worry about that in a little bit. All right. I'm trying to see what maps I haven't done yet. So metallic, don't need to do anything for that since tiles aren't metallic. So just set that there, set it to grayscale, just leave it at black.
Okay.
I know it's already black, but I put it in there just so I'm sure and no unhappy accidents, only happy ones. Let's see, we got height here. So we can feed our height map into there. Feed this. And right away, you can see,
Wow.
look at that. Oh, man.
Yep.
Just the grout in there just cracking up like that. Perfect.
That's
what I wanted.
yeah, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty cool, man.
So, real quick, the last thing that I'll do is I'll do like somewhat of like a rough version of my grout inside of here. Not even rough. I'm just gonna literally just put like a roughness there. So let's see. Let's just grab some nodes here and start messing around. So and usually I wouldn't work like this. I'm just putting this out there. Usually I would, if I'm gonna do something that requires 2 layers, like for instance, you know, the grout and then the tiles go on top of the grout, I would start with the grout first and then add the tiles on top of it. But because now I'm working backwards, it's not gonna be quite as clean as I want it to be, but I mean, it'll still work. All right, so not that hard to create like just a bumpy surface. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, and that's pretty bumpy. Down some. They have this node called normal blend. And this is how you blend in 2 normal maps together. So using a mask. So I already know I want this one to be on top, my original tile to be on top, and then this to be on the bottom of it. And then I need to use a mask to see where that's at. And let's see. So my mask should look something like that. If I'm not incorrect, this is it. And I need to make this stronger. Oh, wait, did I put that the wrong way? I sure did. Darn you, substance. There we go. There we go. So now you're seeing the rough little grout in there, which obviously doesn't look super realistic, but you know, enough to get my point across. And I could throw a grid in there and see how fast I can do it.
You know what I find really cool about this is the addictive quality. You know, I can tell like you're just jonesing to get that next node in there.
Exactly.
I get this is so awesome. I love it.
Let's we got a shape. This is the shape node. This is just to create like whatever shape that you want to create. I'm gonna create a marking here. Oh, it's not working. There it goes. All right. Just trying to soften up the edge a little bit. Round the corners out. Now what I'm about to show you, this is how I created my grout, but this is like a very like simplified, oversimplified version of it. Let's see. Tile. Actually, let me clone this one. That way we have the same parameters used. And put it there. Set this to image input. That's random. Let's do our slope layer. Let's do a fractal sun base. And then we're going to do another one of these. And then let's create a shape here. So tiling, let's see, it's about 8. Feed that into there. What we have are these tiny little squares, right? Actually, let's do this. Gonna be real tiny. And this one onto there. Good. Where's my, okay. Let's go and bind this onto this one. Down. And then turn it to a normal. Feed that into there. And as you can see, you're starting to get the little grid pattern that for the grout. I can make it a little bit more apparent too. So affecting the roughness is essentially the same thing as doing this normal, just doing a blend and taking the original, where's my roughness at? Roughness, and then feeding like a variation of this. So I would make it a lot more white because the grout underneath the tiles are not smooth at all. They're definitely rough and not reflective. So let's see here. There we go. And then there's my mask. My mask is here. Okay. And as you can see, I get my little grout in there. Let's bring up the levels a bit because, like I said, it needs to be more white. And if it's not like exactly what you want, I usually will blend in stuff, blend in noise on top of it, just to break it up a little bit more, make it a little bit more interesting. Yeah, there we go. That's better. We got that. Let's throw that back into roughness now. Boom. Now we're no longer seeing our grout. And I guess this is a decent place for us to stop. I mean, do you guys pretty much get the picture? This
Totally.
All of these steps can be taken to finish out. So this is what my tile ended up looking like, and if I wanted to gradient, let's just create a gradient based on that. Let's grab this picture of some grout. Let's see, pick gradient. I'll grab some grout. And then we'll blend it onto our color. And then I'll call it done. Let's see here. Boom. There we go. All right. It's crazy how they both came out pink looking. Now I want to change it. Oh, definitely not green. Oh, green's not bad. All right. And then we'll add in our grout on top of it using the mask. And this is why it's important to label your things, guys, because I don't have any of this labeled, and it's like now I'm like, oh man, which one was it again?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Which one was the grout?
No, it's just the mask that I was using when I found it.
There we go.
There you go. Our green, nasty looking tile.
Radioactive bathroom.
Exactly.
Man, awesome. Thank you so much.
This is the power of substance, guys. You see this? I can change the color at will. Any color I want. If I want to.
I like the Mediterranean blue. That's nice. Yeah.
And you can take this, and if we come to the original here, the actual like project, I don't know what it's called, whatever this, underneath your package, it's the little node view. If you come in here and you hit random seed, you can literally randomize the entire thing, and it'll keep all your settings, and it'll just move things around, crack things up in a different way. This is perfect for Unreal because of the vertex blending. You can have like 2-3 different like tile textures, one with like the grout missing, one with like cracks in it, and then just blend between the three. And then you have like a really dynamic material that you can use for many different things.
Fantastic. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Joseph. I think that's really cool and really well presented. I mean, this is a massively complex thing for us to undertake. So really awesome. And again, Joseph, man, really awesome. Great breakdown.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Take care.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Bye.